Hello everyone, welcome to Downtown Tailoring. In today's video we are gonna shorten the sleeve on a raincoat, and this kind of job that you need to taper the sleeve before shortening because otherwise you can't. But you will see. So let's go! This is the raincoat I need to shorten the sleeve. Isn't it wonderful? Love it. My colleague told me, no, I don't want to do that job. I'm very afraid. And it doesn't mean that I am not afraid, but let's try. Because of this material and the making, this raincoat presents some possible problem that we have to know beforehand. Even the original, the stitches are not really super, not poker or anything. So I need to know if I really can sew this one. For that, I'm gonna open a little bit of the sleeve like that, and then I'm gonna go to my sewing machine and try to stitch it back. I'm trying to use the same thread color and everything, but the most important is to get a proper foot. In this case, I have two Teflon feet that I can use, but I will start with the thinner one because it's just easier to manage it. And if that doesn't work, then I'm gonna go and use the other. Although you notice my voice normal, it doesn't mean that I'm not really scared. So the second problem, as you can see, is the stitches. When you make a stitch, it will poke a hole in the raincoat. So you always have to be so careful and sew it once. I tried to stitch it, but I see that it might be a little bit difficult, so I'm using some clips to hold the fabric because, as we saw before, we cannot use pin or anything. But at least we are able to sew, so first problem solved. The second inconvenience with this one is that the sleeves are tapered. And what does that mean? That when I fold my sleeve to do the hem, what will happen is that the inside part of the hem won't be the same size of the outside part of the hem. So this is a problem that we need to solve. This is a plastic that I cannot safely mark. So I'm gonna use masking tape to help me, and after I can safely remove it. So I know more or less where my hem will be, so I'm gonna put a little bit of masking tape on top of it, and now I can go and mark. Usually with the sleeves, I like to mark several points and then go all around. So I'm gonna use the masking tape in one side and in the other side. I already did one side, but I was so concentrated that I forgot to record it. But at least we have two sleeves, so I can show you with the other one. So I did my line, this my hem line, and then I know that my hem is 1 inch. So I'm gonna mark 1 inch from my hem line, and then I'm gonna mark my hem at 1 inch, and then I'm gonna mark the folding part at just 1/2 inch. Then I can proceed and cut. Look at that. I cannot make the hem the way the sleeve is now. So I have to fix that problem. For that, I'm gonna put my raincoat inside out, and I'm going to taper the sleeve enough to be able to do that hem. So let me show you. When I fold the hem for my folding line, I'm going to make a line that goes until the end. Here, we don't need too much, just a little bit, because one of the seams is worse than the other. Most of the time, I just do one of them. But in this case, I'm afraid that I won't be able to do a good job if I don't work in both of them. So pretty much, what I do is to open, this is like a English seam, and then I'm going to taper until the point I folded, going in, and then I'm going out. After that, because this is an English seam, I have a video explaining the English seam, so I will just link to this one so you can understand better that seam. So I'm gonna open now what will be like the seam allowance that is as well sewed. And yes, I'm very brave because I'm using with that plastic, that blade, but you know, it's just that if I break it, it won't be that big of the deal. And now I'm gonna push my seam allowance to make it like a 1/4 inch. Probably you will need to cut a little bit horizontally in order to be able to fold that well. Now I can do the top stitch, which is really tough to do because I have not so much space, but I did it. Now you see it's going out a little bit, so when I fold that part, the seams will align. So now I know that this part is good. And now I will do the other one, which is way more pronounced, and here you will see a little bit more clear what I did the first time. So what you want to do is you want to draw the line until the side seam of the hem intersect with the 1-inch mark of your hem. This is how much you need to taper the sleeve. It's kind of, you need to do like a kind of accordion. This is how I call it. So it will be going in and then going out. And at the very end, it has to go in. But I usually don't do that too much because sometimes it's a little too tight in a material like plastic. And again, I'm going to open my French seam and then I'm going to push the seam allowance and I'm going to stitch it again. So I have the seam allowance of, I think a little bit over 1/4 inch. And now I can fold my hem very easily. But of course I have to do my last stitch so the French seam is completely flat. And I have all my seams prepared and now I can make a hem. But before that, remember this is a 2-layer coat. So I'm gonna make sure now to stitch the 2 layers together before I do that hem. So I will be working a little bit easier. They did that as well in the original. I'm doing that with plastic, but let me tell you that a lot of coats are made like that. So that might help you with a lot of coat that you might have at home. I'm folding my hem and I'm using clips because it's the only thing that I can use to hold my seams. And I'm making sure that I fold it twice and my fold is around 1 inch so I can sew at my 1-inch mark. Still I have my raincoat inside out because I want to stitch from the top part because I think that stitch will be a little bit more beautiful. It is looking good. It's a little bit tricky. I'm holding very well my seam. I'm making sure to stretch it out while I'm sewing it. I'm pushing down and I'm pushing forward. And I did my first sleeve and now I have to rinse and repeat. I'm working with my side seams, preparing it, but at this moment I feel more confident. I just did one, it was good. So the second one I think was even a little bit better. And my last step, of course, is remove all my tapes, and here you go. This is the coat. The sleeves are shortened. My customer told me, I know the effort you did in this coat. I know that. This is a great customer, so I'm so happy that he's happy. If you find this video useful, please give us a like and don't forget to subscribe, share, comment. Bye!